you for your patience tonight, everyone. Really appreciate folks coming out here tonight to make it to the meeting. It's my privilege and my honor to call to order the Monday, March 23rd, 2026 Royal Oak City Commission meeting to order. We're going to begin with an invocation given by myself, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask that you stand if you can, please. These days, it seems our great nation is stuck in a perpetual constitutional crisis. But why? In grade school, we learned about the three branches of government and how each branch would keep the other in check. But who enforces this? Andrew Jackson once said, "John Marshall has made his decision, now let him enforce it," referring to the Supreme Court's 1832 ruling, Worcester versus Georgia. Jackson's refusal to enforce the court order led to one of the saddest and most shameful times in our history, the Trail of Tears. Jackson was asserting the Supreme Court had no army and he alone was commander-in-chief. It wasn't the last time our country would test the fragility of our democracy. For 250 years, we somehow have held it together, not without error or setbacks, but we have technically remained a constitutional federal republic for now. Our elected leaders, members of our military, and public servants swear an oath to our Constitution, the rule book we all agree to play by. Right or wrong, win or lose, happy or disappointed, we agree to the rules and respect the results and outcomes as they lay. While our checks and balances help facilitate our democracy, the foundation of our democracy has always been predicated on honoring our constitutional contract. Honor is better felt as a sentiment rather than a defined trait. While our contract with the Constitution is the foundation, honor is the mortar that keeps the house of democracy together. Legislation is complicated, court rulings are complicated, policies are fluid and interpretable, threats come and go. No matter what the debate or issue at hand, it's imperative for survival that all Americans reject hypocrisy, injustice, lies, and corruption in all their ugly and hidden forms. We must each be honorable, no matter the personal cost. We must hold each other and ourselves accountable while setting the best example for each other. And for those who cannot embrace honor, we pray they will at least be motivated to do right, to avoid the pain of shame and embarrassment. May this commission and our entire community serve each other with honor through respectful dialogue, authenticity, decency, truth, rule of law, and unconditional love for thy neighbor. May we not only live honorably, may we find the strength to extend grace and forgiveness and make room for others, including ourselves, to change. Together we are the mortar that holds the very foundation of freedom together. We ask for the safe return home of all those who serve Royal Oak, both in uniform and not. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Item number 4 tonight is a pretty exciting agenda item. I'm going to hand it over to our esteemed and most revered city engineer in all of the state of Michigan, maybe in the country, Ms. Holly Donahue.
Thank you, Mayor Fournier. Tonight we're here to talk about our grant that we received from SEMCOG through the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program, also known as CMAQ. This is a program that can really help us to reduce traffic congestion and thereby improve air quality throughout the state of Michigan. With the assistance of our consultant, Hubble, Roth & Clark, HRC, we have some folks here tonight from the team. They helped us really do all the heavy lifting to apply for these grants in order to fund some programs in 2027 and in 2028. So we'll be doing traffic signal improvements on 14 Mile Road and on Coolidge Highway as a result of this grant, which is a little over $3.3 million. Some of the upgrades that we'll be doing is switching over to mast arms at each of the signal locations. We'll be adding illuminated street signs to help people see which streets they're driving past, especially our older population. We're adding audible pedestrian push buttons at the intersections to help those who have issues, visible issues. And one of the big key things that we're adding here is traffic detection. So that allows us to really see where traffic is when you're at an intersection and how do you get it through most efficiently so that cars are not sitting there adding to the pollution. We'll be adding new controllers at all these traffic signals, and then at the end of the construction, HRC will come back in and do what we call optimization. So they'll go at each intersection and figure out how to time them in the best way possible to move traffic through, again, efficiently, to keep cars so that they're not sitting there unnecessarily. So in 2027, we'll be working on 14 Mile Road, $2.2 million in grant funding there, which is 100% of the construction funding, which we're so grateful for. Really allows us to make a lot of really substantial improvements here on 14 Mile Road. And then in 2028, a little bit over $1.1 million, again, for construction to do some upgrades on Coolidge Highway as well. So thank you so much to SEMCOG for approving these grant applications, and I will turn it over to Amy O'Leary with SEMCOG to talk about the regional impact.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I just want to start by thanking you for your membership with SEMCOG. SEMCOG is an association of local governments, so we have 186 local governments that are members of ours. But in addition to that, we're the regional planning agency for Southeast Michigan, and we have a number of federal designations. One is that we are the transportation designation or the Metropolitan Planning Organization, so the federal transportation funds flow through SEMCOG and out to the communities. In addition to that, we are also the Economic Development District designation for the region. So economic development, I just want to throw that in because we just approved our comprehensive economic development strategy at our General Assembly last week. So I think there's a lot of ties to our economic development work too, especially with all of the great work you're doing in your downtowns. So to talk a little bit, thank you, you did a great job, Holly. The CMAC program is really a vital resource that's provided by federal funding for programs that reduce congestion, improve traffic flow, and enhance air quality. So there's many different types of investments we can make with this money. There can be transit improvements, the traffic signal modernizations, we do roundabouts, we do EV charging, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, and we administer this competitive program, and we usually do a call for these probably like every 3 years or so. And just to remind you that Southeast Michigan is home to half of the state's population, and so we have about over half of the infrastructure, so we have a lot of vehicles on the road, and being able to implement these kinds of projects at scale are really important. So the transportation emissions are an important element, and that's why the CMAC program has existed for like 25 years, a very long time. The carbon reduction program is a newer program, but both of those work together for Southeast Michigan. So we also want to mention that we're really grateful for the support of our partners both in Lansing and Washington, D.C. While this is a federal program, Senator Slotkins and Senator Peters have always been very supportive of this program. In fact, right now, this project is up for reauthorization, so they're talking about projects like this, and we like to make sure they know how important these projects are for all of you locally, so that when the program is reauthorized, we're hopeful that these programs stay in there. Even though they've done great things for 25 years, we want to make sure they remain in the new program. So today, we want to mention that these projects were also selected by our Regional Review Committee. That's a committee that really looks at the criteria, and they're made up of elected officials like all of you, and they select the best projects in the region, and this is one of those best projects that were selected. So I want to say congratulations, and also I want to thank not just our federal partners, our state partners. Appreciate you guys coming as well. Now, while these are federal funds, there's many times that they come through for us with the state funding as well, so we wanted to make sure that you guys were able to be here today as well, so thank you. And with that, Mayor, I want to invite you to come and get your check, and maybe we could do a picture.
Oh, wow.
It's picture
I mean,
time.
we love big checks, Amy.
Yeah, we don't just let it sit here, if that's all right. We like to do a picture with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's, and the whole team, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The
And,
whole
you know,
team.
just a few things on behalf of Royal Oak. First off, big thank to SEMCOG. Thank you for our representatives, Price and McDonald, and from Senator Slotkin's office and our consultants. I mean, it's truly a team effort to make these things happen, and I believe it's because everyone is passionate about what programs and grants like this can do. What this means for our community is so important. It not only helps with some critical infrastructure needs that we have, but it supports our sustainability goals. It'll help reduce emissions in the city of Royal Oak. It allows vehicles to get where they need to go in a more efficient way, and that will result in less complaints from my wife from time to time when I'm running late and we're stuck at every red light in certain areas. But on a serious note, we have, and much to the thank to the engineer's office and our city engineer and all of our staff and this commission here, we have goals related to our transportation initiatives, but also our safety objectives. So upgrading signals, doing this type of work, investing in this type of infrastructure gets us to where we want to be as a city. I think inspires and helps gets the region. You know, people do drive through Royal Oak. I mean, I like to think everybody that comes here stays here and they never want to leave, but you know, this is really, you know, impacting the broader area surrounding Royal Oak as well. So we're very grateful for all the hard work. We're very grateful for the grant and for the very large check. And we look forward to getting to work and seeing, you know, fast results right away. So thank you very much. And let's do a picture. Who doesn't love photos? I'm an end-stander usually. I was a middle child and I've been trying to shake that my whole life. Okay, well, this is
Probably going to have to double up on the ends a little bit here. Let's see. I think I could just get everybody.
say infrastructure.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Let's check this. Wait a little bit.
Like that?
Yes, there we go. Cheers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right.
Just take that right to me.
All right. Thank you again, sincere thank you. This is really exciting. I think even to people that aren't really into road and traffic and infrastructure, they don't wake up every day thinking about it. I really do believe most people will look at this and say, awesome, this is great. Checks so many boxes and does so many things, and it's good to have a solution that works so many objectives. Okay, that brings us to item 5 tonight, which is the approval of the agenda. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve the agenda as it's been presented to us? I see Commissioner Herzog has made the motion.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? By Commissioner Chisholm. Discussion on this motion? All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We have an agenda. Okay, that brings us to public comment. A few ground rules before we commence. The City Commission values and relies on the input of our fellow citizens to help make decisions. Now's the time set aside for the public to address the City Commission on any city-related issue, whether or not it's on the agenda. I do ask that comments be made to the Commission as a whole and not to individual commissioners. We've made it easier for you to request follow-up on any issue or even leave public comment by simply scanning the QR code you see displayed. We have one right up. Is it still up there? There it is. Chief Moore was using it. He's got some complaints for the City Commission. And that really helps us make sure we can get back to you when you have questions. Of course, if they're rhetorical, we understand that maybe you're not looking for an answer, but it's helpful to leave your name and information. So tonight, usually we have Ms. Judy Davis, but she's on a well-earned vacation. So if you do want to leave your name and contact information with something, if you feel uncomfortable using the scanner, our Susan Barkman will be able to accomplish that task in Judy's absence. Thank you, Ms. Barkman. If you wish to speak tonight at public comment, please wait until recognized by me, the mayor, and then step up to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, not per issue. And we do that because we want to hear from anyone who wishes to speak tonight. And we do have a timer up there to help you keep track of your time as well. Please note, we typically don't respond to questions during public comment. I believe you can imagine how that would go every night. But we are writing those questions down, and when the topic is discussed, we will ask those questions on your behalf. If your questions are unrelated to anything on tonight's agenda, we'll do our best to get back to you if you leave your contact information. Always feel free to reach out to us as well via email. We try to get back to you. Sometimes we get barrages of emails that take a little bit of time to sort through, but nonetheless, it's also a good avenue to get a hold of us. So with that, who's first?
Hello, I'm Alex Morford. I live on Sunnybrook. Affordable housing is economically difficult to build. There is not enough federal and state funding available to meet the need. If you haven't already, I kindly request you watch the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting from earlier this month. In that meeting, the ZBA was asked to issue a modest parking variance to enable affordable housing in our downtown. The home builder stated this parking variance was necessary to make building 45 affordable homes for our neighbors economically viable. Unfortunately, the ZBA members chose parking over people. They failed to grant the modest parking variance. However, the ZBA only reviews proposals that can't meet the current zoning ordinance. So the systemic root cause is our zoning ordinance with arbitrary and excessive parking requirements. If we had a reasonable zoning ordinance, this decision wouldn't have been in front of the ZBA. By requiring so much parking, funding that should be used to build more homes for our neighbors goes towards building parking spaces. More parking means fewer homes. Mm-hmm. There are 45 families who should be moving into guaranteed affordable housing in our downtown. They need our help. Just a week before the ZBA meeting, I was speaking with a single mom who lives in Royal Oak. She's struggling to pay rent. She needs Royal Oak to build more affordable housing so her children don't have to change schools. During our discussion, I told her city leadership were doing everything in their power to bring affordable homes to Royal Oak as quickly as possible. I hope I have good news that affordable housing will be built next time I speak with her. I don't want to have to tell her how sorry I am that our community continues to fail her. I've always believed Royal Oak is a welcoming community, but blocking affordable housing isn't something a welcoming community would do. We should vow to make changes so our own zoning ordinance doesn't get in the way of affordable housing again. As the zoning rewrite comes before you, please think about how parking requirements hurt our community this month. You will have the power, through the zoning rewrite, to make Royal Oak more welcoming. I hope you take it. Everyone should feel welcome in Royal Oak. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for serving our community.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Anybody else? Mr. Harrison.
Bill Harrison, Woodward Side subdivision. resident and a building owner in downtown Royal Oak. Comment on the $3 million or plus. I hope that we don't let the Sheets people off the hook because we have money to spend on 14 Mile Road, which leads me to why I'm here. I'm getting tired of giving these developers a second bite at the apple. And speaking of the project proposed over next to the courthouse, where they want to have parking reduced to 0.75 or 72% of the requirements. The requirement is 2 spaces per dwelling unit. But in downtown, ever since I was on the DDA, we allowed that to be 1.2 parking spaces because there is public parking available for guests, etc. You know, just recently the DDA approved a second bite at the apple for the developer that's building the high-rise at 5th and Lafayette. Now remember, they were already given 58 spaces in the Lafayette parking structure, and now they came back and wanted the DDA to forgive the TIF increment funding for a period of 30 years. I propose that if they want to compromise on that they forgive the TIF capture for the affordable housing portion of the high-rise. But no, they gave them the whole 9 yards for 30 years, and they only have to provide affordable housing under the contract for 20 years. Tired of this giveaway stuff. I mean, we've got enough problem with trying to keep our buildings rented in downtown, given the parking fiasco that we all admit to. It's ridiculous. And I noticed that our state representative, Natalie, can't think of the last name, Price, is it? But she had the opportunity to talk about why she went to Minnesota and what she learned about the horrendous fraud and corruption that's going on there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. All right, yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm a resident of Royal Oak, live at Maplewood neighborhood. So here to speak about, quite frankly, an arbitrary decision by the Zoning Board of Appeals they made earlier this month to block 45 units of affordable housing, funding that both the federal and state government paid for, and yet the government also got it in its own way and decided to block, again, 100% affordable housing. We are short over 100,000 units of housing in the state of Michigan. That is continuing to grow, and one of the reasons is because we tend to deny housing based on arbitrary requirements that don't have any basis in science or fact. Look, I've lived here now for about 4 years. I've heard every year that we have a parking crisis, that if we do one more thing, that downtown's going to collapse, that we don't have enough parking. Look, we don't have a parking crisis, but we have a housing crisis. People are being pushed out of Royal Oak because of housing prices. People can't live here because of housing. And again, this was an arbitrary decision that blocked that. And look, I'm just also here to say, you guys should pay more attention to the ZBA, and this is why we need the zoning update. They often make a lot of arbitrary decisions. I've seen them deny certain housing additions, for Royal Oak homeowners because they decided they personally didn't like how it looked, but then others, because they like that it's a historic home, well, then they'll give it to you. They make a lot of decisions based on their own personal preferences, not based on what is actually in the zoning ordinance. We were, talking, like, if they would have said no to everything in the ZBA, especially in that meeting, we'd still be upset. It's still wrong, but okay. But they give approvals based on I don't know what their own feelings of it is, not based on the zone, not based on law, just whatever they think happens to look good. So one of the things I'm hoping for the zoning rewrite is so people don't have to come in front of the zoning board just to have arbitrary decisions made. Also, in terms of housing, there is a current package of bills in front of the state legislator, just for any state reps that might be in the audience. I'm supportive of that. I hope those state representatives are supportive of that too. I understand CMCOG is against this package of bills, and if there's any, I don't know if they're still here, but look, we have a housing crisis, and a lot of that is perpetuated by local restrictions that, I appreciate that Royal Oak has been trying to do more, but it can't just be on Royal Oak. Every community has got to do their part, and we do need the state to step in and to at least curb some of the worst excesses of local governments so that everybody is contributing to building housing so we can end this housing crisis. Again, that's what I support. And then last but not least, just got to get this ripped in. Appreciate that we're getting a grant for MDOT. MDOT really is the Department of Cars. I hope that we're still focusing on pedestrians and other forms of transit. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. All right. Anybody else tonight that wants to speak? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Michael Kessler, owner-operator of Best Life Cannabis. I did have a bunch of dates and timelines of Best Life and communications with Royal Oak, but actually after walking in here and seeing a $3 million check, we're talking about housing, I can understand that Royal Oak has a lot on your plate, and I truly understand that. So my issue with Best Life Cannabis, which some of you may not know, but 3 minutes doesn't give enough time. I just want Royal Oak to understand that Best Life Cannabis is my business that I've invested everything that I have into. And currently right now I'm in a management agreement with another company that is helping me try to succeed in a tough market. And with that, we have been waiting about 2 months for one final response to see if we can do a rebranding, which I know restaurants rebrand, I know gas stations rebrand. I mean, everybody does it, it's in the business, right? The thing with it is that people walking down the street, they recognize a brand, it brings them in. And that brings customers, which brings revenue, which keeps businesses alive. And in my industry, it's a tough industry right now. And that's something that I put myself into. And that's what I did. That's my responsibilities. So as my responsibility to myself and be successful, I need to make moves that put me in the right position. And I hope that Royal Oak can actually respond back to an email that we did send over a couple of times and help me decide how we can proceed as a business. Currently right now it is shut down due to several factors that have happened, and I just wanted to open back up and be able to serve the public. I've never had a fine. I've never had any violations with the state. I promise you, like, I'm a good guy. I'm not a criminal. I'm not anybody that's doing anything bad. I'm just trying to operate a business that is in a very strict, regulated environment. And with that, I followed all the rules. And I'm doing everything that I can to work with the city in regards to this as well too. And I'm just asking if you guys could just take a moment of time this week to consider the emails, the responses that we've sent out, and take my comment in. Just understand that it's a small business and I need help. And I appreciate it if you guys could just take the time this week, and if you have the time, to please respond. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Kessler. Who's next? Going once? Going twice? All righty, we're going to close public comment and bring the meeting back to this side of the table. Thank you to all of those who are participated in public comment this evening. This brings us to item 7, which is the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull anything off tonight's consent agenda? Okay, does anyone wish to make a motion on the consent agenda as presented? Commissioner Bastian makes a move, seconded by Commissioner Gantina. All right, any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. All right. That brings us to item 8, which is the approval of the Royal Oak Public Library 2026 to 2028 Strategic Plan. We have Director Irwin here. The floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Hang on just a second while I pull this up. Your long consent agenda. Yeah, thanks, Holly.
So many
all you.
construction contracts.
So good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I want to say thank you for taking the moment to listen to our new strategic plan. So we started last June with Fast Forward Libraries. They were our consultant, and we worked with them throughout this time. First, we had our planning team that worked together, and then we worked on our community input and learning report. So that involved doing an online survey of the residents. We actually had over 2% return rate of all residents in Royal Oak. It doesn't sound like a lot, but in public surveys for libraries, it's a lot. We also did focus groups. So we had online and in-person focus groups with different community organizations, educators, with parents and guardians, seniors, and business people. And finally, we did one-on-one interviews with community leaders and folks from the community. And all of these groups were not just asking, we weren't just asking them about the library, our consultants. They were asking about the community and what people want from their community. And that helped in turn to create our strategic plan. And what I want to share as part of this agenda, we included our learning report, but it's also available online for anybody who wants to read it, because there's a lot of great information about what people from Royal Oak want, what they're hoping for, what they're aspiring to in the community, and it's not just related to libraries. So we have workshops with the staff and the board after we received our learning report. Then we did a lot of wordsmithing, and on February 24th, we adopted our current strategic plan. So instead of a mission and vision, we wanted to talk about what our purpose is here in the community. What is the library for? Why are we here? And our purpose statement is to empower our community to learn, connect, create, and grow through welcoming and inclusive spaces, diverse resources, and meaningful experiences. That all came from what the community told us. So we thought that this was a really great way to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is our purpose in our community. And from there, we have 3 strategic directions. The first is to foster community connections and provide valuable patron experiences. The second is to champion ease of access and inclusion through evolving services and spaces. And the third is to cultivate an internal culture of growth, learning, creativity, and innovation. So throughout this strategic plan, we provide various goals. So under fostering community connections and valuable patron experiences, our statement there is that we collaborate with local partners to connect our community to needed resources. By expanding the library's communications, we raise awareness of library services and reach out to meet the community where they are. And we have 3 goals that are associated with that: connecting with our community and engaging local partners to better reach new audiences, implement new communication and marketing strategies to better inform the community of all the library offers, and strive to consistently provide meaningful patron experiences that meet individual and community needs. And we list a variety of outcomes that we're hoping for. Our next strategic direction is champion ease of access and inclusion through evolving services and spaces. We provide versatile spaces where people can meet, work, and play. Innovative collections and technologies meet our community needs. Varied and inclusive programs and services provide information, entertainment, and cultural appreciation. And with that, we have 4 goals. Provide welcoming, safe, accessible, modern, and comfortable facilities that allow patrons to use the library with minimal barriers. Develop ways to make our collections and services more intuitive to navigate. Evaluate and reimagine programs and events to meet evolving community needs and interests. Build and maintain an exceptional collection designed to anticipate and exceed the evolving expectations of the community. And there we have a variety of outcomes listed as well. Finally, we have cultivate an internal culture of growth, learning, creativity, and innovation. We aim to provide a vibrant internal culture where staff can learn and grow. Our staff members support excellent customer service and are the heart of our library services to the public. And one note on that is when we did our survey, the consultants were very surprised. They said when people were rating the different parts of the library, customer service was number 2. It's like, they're never number 2. Customer service is usually like number 3 or 4, but the people of Royal Oak value the customer service that they get from the library staff. So I just wanted to point that out, but you'll see that in the learning report if you read it. Okay, back to our goals. So we want to provide professional development and learning opportunities that enhance skills and facilitate growth. That leadership empowers staff development and well-being through ongoing evaluation, support, and engagement. And all of our decision-making is aligned with usage data and patron feedback. It's a lot. I've said a lot of words and they all sound great. So what does that actually mean? So we are in our next steps of this project, of our strategic plan. When we met with the board and with the staff, we came up with a lot of ideas of things that we want to do to move the library forward so we can serve our community better. And so we are in the process of putting those together into our year 1 actions and objectives. And then once we decide what those are, then we'll figure out how we're going to measure it, because you can't measure something without knowing what you're actually doing. So the measurement part will come later, but we're really excited to share this with the community and to let everybody know we listened, we heard the feedback that you shared, and this is what we've brought forward. And what we like about it is that it's also fluid. Just because it's written in this PDF document does not mean that it's etched in stone. So if we find that something's not working or the community has something to say that was not included, we are going to go back and we'll revise things or we'll change things. We want it to be an evergreen plan so that it's always changing and always growing. So that's what I have to share with you today.
Wonderful. Does anyone have any questions for Director Irwin? Commissioner Cheatham?
Thank you so much. This is really a great report, and I looked through some of the data too, the reading.
The learning report?
The learning
Yeah,
report, which is really interesting. I'm wondering, to your last point there, how will you communicate to the community what the action items are for the first year? Like, how will you keep that conversation going with the community? Because you did have great input from a number of stakeholders, and I know that the community has a lot of investment in the library because it's just such a great place.
Thank you. So once we develop what we're going to work on, we'll share that with the community, and we're looking probably at like quarterly progress. So one of the things that was really clear to us is that we're not great at marketing. And that's one of the things we need to work on. So we'll figure out how we're going to better market what we're doing to the community, and that will include communicating all that we do. So, you know, we have newsletters, you have to sign up for them. We have social media, you have to have social media. We have a website, you need to want to go online. So what are the ways that we can communicate better? So we are planning to, like I said, quarterly updates on what we're working on.
Commissioner Colo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Director Irwin. You know, the library is great. I say that all the time. My kids are actually over there right now reading to dogs, even though we have 2 of them at home that they don't read to, but had to go out and do it on a school night because why not? I appreciate this, and I was actually on the library board when we did the last strategic plan, and that doesn't seem like a long time ago, and I saw the positive improvements that you and your staff have implemented since then. I do appreciate how I know that your staff really takes to mind the strategic goals that you set with everything that you look at. You look at through the lens of the strategic plan to see how you're advancing the library based on data and points that you had set out, like a good librarian should, right? Like you're looking at the data to improve the library. So it's a gem, it's a jewel in the city, and I'm excited to see it continue to evolve and get better.
Thank you.
I could make a joke that it was clear we had to do a new strategic plan since Commissioner Colo helped on the last one.
Commissioner Macy was there too.
Oh,
leading
that's
it,
true.
so-
That's true.
She helped on this one too, though.
Oh.
She was on the library board at the time, so.
I will say
She
we
tirelessly
had,
gives back to the community.
all joking aside, Commissioner Colo included, we've had some pretty amazing library boards over the year, strong leadership, and I think the staff is absolutely outstanding there. And really, when you walk in, this is great. The learning report is great. The strategic plan makes a lot of sense. It resonates, but it's no surprise when you feel the energy in this community in regards to our library. I think that I applaud everyone for wanting to do more, to figure out marketing, to figure out how to spread the good news. It's not even marketing. It's like, how do we spread the good news? And I mean, I can't say for sure because I don't visit other libraries in the region, but just talking to colleagues, I think we have something really special in Royal Oak that separates us from everybody else. And, you know, I don't want to speak for the entire commission because lawfully I cannot, but if there's anything we could ever do or any connections we can make or any role you want us to play in getting that good news story out, you know, let us know.
Of course. Great.
We would love to take credit for all of your hard work at the library. I mean, that is, you know, that's always a good feeling. No, serious though. You know, we know you got your board, you got your management. You knock on our door for funding from time to time and get the budget approved. You have your own millage, but you know, we're partners in this. So, and very grateful for the work you, your staff, and the board do, and all the volunteers. I mean, I think that's another thing too. We have a lot of volunteers that you know, work through the library as well, and you know, just exciting.
It is exciting. We do have great volunteers and staff, board, everybody. They work hard, they're creative, and they're community-oriented, whether you're a staff person, a board member, or a volunteer. People just want to serve their community.
And you got an appetite to try new things. So what if it fails? Let's try this thing. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the next thing to, you know, breed enthusiasm in the community or, you know, get that next kid interested in reading more. I mean, you know, there's so many different things you guys try that it's pretty remarkable.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, we do have a resolution in front of us.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Herzog. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Colo. Discussion. All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. All right,
Thank
another
you.
one in the books.
All right, thank you all so much. I'll share information as I get it.
Okay, thank you, Director Irwin.
Let's just shelf this and move on, Mike.
Oh, man. I'm not reading what you're laying down. All right, let's turn the page and move on to the next topic.
We're overdue for it.
There should be a whole section for Commissioner Colo there.
There's actually one on my nightstand. You guys are trying to tell me how bad they were, I guess.
You're like, all right, if you don't clean your room, we're going to read jokes. All right, now we're on to item number 9. Standard Resolution 5, Special Assessment for 2025 Sidewalk Improvement Program. Tough act to follow after an amazing library report, but City Engineer Donahue,
I'll do
you're
my
teed up.
best.
It's
So
3.2 million hours tonight. I feel like it's a win from the engineering.
That's true. That's true.
So the work associated with our 2025 sidewalk program is now complete, and we're ready to move forward with Standard Resolution 5. The target area that we worked on last year was in sections 5, 6, and 32 of the city, which is roughly just the northwest corner of our city. There were about 3,800 total properties within the target area, and of those, just under 700 will be receiving an invoice for work performed at their property. They can request a payment plan for 6 years with 6% interest if desired. So far, we just have one request. Often after the bills go out, we'll get a few additional requests, and we handle those administratively. All the other properties, however, will receive a one-time bill this spring, which will be due on July 1st. The city assessor has determined the special assessment district for the 2025 sidewalk work. Engineering notified all the properties within the district that are scheduled to receive a bill, that this would be on the agenda tonight. And so staff is recommending adopting Standard Resolution 5. This is for Roll 2420-2502. And then a reminder that this is a roll call vote.
Questions? None? Okay. Commissioner Cullo?
Being that this is for work that has previously been approved and has now been completed, and we've talked about this a lot, it's time to bill for it. I move approval of the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Cullo, second by Commissioner Gantina. Discussion? Okay, I'm going to call for the roll call vote. We'll start with the motion maker, Commissioner Cullo.
Aye.
Commissioner Bastian.
Aye.
Commissioner Gantina.
Aye.
Commissioner Chisholm. Commissioner Herzog.
Aye.
And I vote aye. All right, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item 10, which is approval of proposed charter and ballot language, ironically, I'm messing that word up, for parks, forestry, recreation, playgrounds, and animal shelter millage. Mr. Gruchowski.
Thank you, Mayor. On the agenda for your consideration is a proposed charter amendment and proposed ballot language for the renewal of the city's existing parks, forestry, recreation, playgrounds, and animal shelter millage. As the commission is aware, this is a continuation of an existing voter-approved millage that is set to expire at the end of this year, 2026. What is being presented tonight is not a new tax, but rather a renewal that would allow voters the opportunity to decide whether the city should continue this dedicated funding source for another 5 years. This millage has played an important role in supporting the wide range of recreational assets and services that our community relies on every day, from our park system and playgrounds to our community centers, programming, and recreational facilities. It also supports our ongoing efforts related to animal shelter services and planning for a potential future facility. From a financial standpoint, having a dedicated funding source like this helps provide stability and predictability. It allows the city to maintain these assets and services while reducing overall pressure on the general fund, which is also responsible not only for these costs, but for the core services like police, fire, and public works. This proposal is also consistent with a number of the Commission's adopted plans and priorities, including maintaining quality of life, supporting aging in place, continuing investment in our parks and natural resources as a part of our broader sustainability goals. Tonight's requested action does not approve the millage itself, but rather authorizes sending the proposed ballot language and charter proposal to the Governor and Attorney General for review, and then after approval, placing the question before the voters on the November election. With that, I'll turn it over for any questions or discussion. I'll note that our special millage attorney, Jeff Aronoff, is here and present to help answer any questions that may arise.
Questions for Mr. Gruchowski? Commissioner Gantina?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. When this, assuming this gets sent to the Attorney General, can you help me understand either how often or to what extent does the language typically get adjusted by the Attorney General's office?
So generally, not often. That's why we engage special bond counsel to make sure we crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's with the language. There is occasion, though, where they have minor technical changes or small semantical changes that aren't necessarily attack the subject matter of what we're trying to do, but at least at that point, we would make changes administratively and move it forward at that point.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Cullo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm on the Parks and Recs Board. I see our Parks and Rec Director here also. This is an important millage for us. We upgrade about $500,000 worth of playground equipment every year thanks to this millage. That's one thing we've been able to do. Couple that with the upgrades we've been able to do block grant. We're making some really good progress right now on upgrading facilities that back in the recession, it was either keep the lights on in town or upgrade parks, and parks fell by the wayside pretty quickly. So this millage has been really important. Our continued efforts to continue to improve our parks for better recreation for all walks of life in the city. Everyone uses the park. So I've seen firsthand, being in town, being a resident, I've seen on the Parks and Rec committee how important this millage is to continue our work. So with that, we'll move approval.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Colo. Is there a second? I think I saw Commissioner Bastian take it out of the left eye, but that's my better eye. Okay. All right. Discussion on the motion. I remind you this is a roll call vote. I'll just add the quality of life in our community is predicated on a few things. We talked about feeling safe, being safe as paramount. But the quality of life we enjoy every day when we walk out of our homes and go to one of our 52 parks, knowing we have the surety and security of an animal shelter, making sure we have a regular funding source to take care and support and allow and help our elders to thrive, I think not only speaks to the quality of our life, but it also speaks to our value system. And so the voters spoke to us last time this went out to them, and they'll have a chance to speak again. And I will be supporting this because last time our community voted with their values, and it was a clear signal to us that these are priorities, and we'll put this back on the ballot for them to make that decision again. Okay, we'll start with the motion maker, Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bastian.
Yes.
Commissioner Gantina.
Yes.
Commissioner Chisholm. Yes. Commissioner Herzog.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes. Okay, this brings us down to the approval of the proposed resolution calling election for senior millage renewal. Mr. Kruczewski.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, for your consideration this evening is a proposed resolution calling an election for the renewal of the senior services millage. Right now, that was a renewal of 0.2, which is subject to the reduced rate of 0.1979. So it's a rather small mills, but a very important nonetheless. As the Commission is aware, this is a continuation of an existing voter-approved millage that is set to expire again at the end of 2026. This is not a new tax, but rather a renewal that would allow voters the opportunity to decide whether the city should continue this dedicated funding source for another 5-year period. Again, because this is a renewal of an existing millage, there is no tax increase to the taxpayers, as was the previous one. This millage supports a wide range of programs and services for older adults throughout the community, including opportunities for health, wellness, recreation, social engagement, provided through facilities such as the Mahaney Meininger Center, the Salter Center. These programs play an important role in supporting independence, connection, and overall quality of life for our residents as they age. Again, maintaining a dedicated funding source also provides stability and predictability, allowing the city to continue these services while reducing reliance on general fund and planning for future needs as our population continues to grow and evolve. Approval tonight will authorize the ballot language to be finalized and will place a question on the before the voters on the November election as well. With that, I'll turn it over for any questions or discussion. What is unique about this of our 4 ballot proposals that we're looking at August and November is this is not associated with our charter under state law. Thus, there is no charter amendment that accompanies this. So this is just an authorization of the ballot language to place on the ballot for November.
Excellent. Questions for Mr. Kruczewski? Does anyone wish to make a motion? Commissioner Chisholm. We have a motion by Commissioner Chisholm, seconded quickly by Commissioner Herzog. All right, discussion. We'll start with Commissioner Gantina and then Commissioner Colo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make some quick statements around the fact that, some of the most sustainable cities are the ones that actually meet the needs of all generations within the city. I think this goes a long way to showing that we prioritize inclusivity in the city, and again, across all generations. a lot of the work that we do, not only in our personal lives, but up here, is on the shoulders of all those that came before us. So I think this is a very important way to make sure that we are able to fund the programming and the respect for again, from a generational perspective, everyone that came before us, and make sure that they can all stay here for as long as possible and live a high quality of life. So I will be in support.
Thank you, Commissioner Gantina. Commissioner Colo.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wholeheartedly agree with everything Commissioner Gantino just said. Royal Oak is a place where you can start a family, you can live, and you can grow, live your twilight out and enjoy it. We want to make sure that we continue to be that. 0.2 mils is less than $1 million into our funds. That's not a lot of money to accomplish all those goals that we had set out for this. So this is supplementing all the services that we're offering, and it's a great way that we can continue to enhance those services as we go. I wish we could bring in a lot more money at any given time, because these services are constantly in need. So this is definitely a great way to make sure that we're supplementing what we're offering, so we can continue to be a place where you want to live your twilight.
Mm-hmm. Excellent point, Commissioner Colo. It is a safeguard and a merit of stability. Commissioner Bastian.
I am very much in support of this for so many reasons, but above and beyond so many of them, this is an investment not only in our present, but this is an investment in our future. As part of the white-bearded contingent on this dais, I hope to one day live into being a true senior, and this is an investment in all those who have that opportunity to grow and mature in our community. I happen to sit on the Older Adults Advisory Board, and so I work regularly with a number of people that work at the Mahaney Meininger Center, and I would be very hard-pressed to find city staff that are as diligent and as caring about our community as those that work there. And to support them in their efforts by supporting this just makes sense.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Bastian. Yeah, the same comments I had before, but I'll just add with this one, we talk about these things in terms of the collective, which is the right thing to do because we're all paying into it. And to Commissioner Bastian's point, hopefully we all live long lives and we'll all benefit from it. But I think about a case recently, within the last year, we had a veteran that lives in our community that was struggling to make ends meet. And being a true veteran, had the courage to reach out and say, I'm struggling, I'm a senior, I'm a veteran, I don't know what to do. Probably thinking no one would ever respond to that message or get back to him. Well, we did. The senior center and the staff there stepped into action. He wasn't aware of the resources, the lunches, the meals, the things that are available through the senior center. We had a caring staff that, deserve a salary, deserve payment for the work that they do, that took care of this individual. And, it may just be one story in the community, how we change this individual's life for the positive. But as times get a little more uncertain, that story is going to replicate over and over and over again. And I know it has. Not all of them has been always as visible. But it's just one personal experience I had where these type of things make a meaningful difference in our community, but let's be honest, in the lives of people we know and individuals we care about. So I'm happy to see everybody up here supporting us, happy to see our community come out last time and support it, and hopefully looking forward to the same result this time. All right, this is also a roll call vote. Oh, you made the motion. Yeah. I saw someone shaking their head and someone nodding their head, and I'm like, oh man, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, and I'm still here. Okay, so it's a roll call vote. I'm going to start with the motion maker. So we'll go Commissioner Cheatham. Aye. Commissioner Herzog. Aye. I vote aye. Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bastian.
Aye.
And Commissioner Gantina.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously. All right, which brings us to item 12, adjournment. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, Commissioner Herzog.
You have to be called back. A motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Herzog. Is there a second? We have an enthusiastic second by Commissioner Gantina. Discussion on this motion. Okay, notwithstanding anything more we can do tonight for the betterment of our community, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Adjourned.